from the halls of government.
You were there. I was not there. Check the record. Wait now. I was not there.
To the voices of the people.
We are suffering. This suffering is too much. It's too much. Look at the students. There's no job. They're feeling school. There's no job for them.
We analyze the undercurrents, expose the intrigues, and break down the narratives that define our democracy. Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki delivering razor-sharp analysis, and Ebuka Franklin and Chisom on the question wheel, driving the conversation. We bring you the most compelling discussions on governance, policies, and power plays. Stay informed, stay engaged, stay ahead. The Polity, every weekdays at 9:15 a.m. Exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha.
I'd like to start by begging Nigerians again to be more considerate and more responsible people. Coming from 3-3 to this area this morning was, I don't know what to call it. I mean, a journey that would take 20 minutes, 25 at most, took approximately 1 hour. As a matter of fact, 57 minutes. That's what it took me to get from my destination around 3-3 to this place. And I'll tell you what, Franklin, yeah, the road is under construction, but there were no trailers significantly blocking the road. No, it was just Nigerians raving mad. People creating 5-way drives that is supposed to be at most 2. They create 5, block the other one entirely. And sometimes I wonder, you know how you use pain to count, I don't know, maybe pain to counter pain. I don't know how best to explain what we keep doing to ourselves, but blocking the road is the most inhumane thing you can do to other people and to yourself.
It's quite unfortunate because whenever I see something like that, what I keep on asking myself is whether we are still rational human beings or if we are animals.
Honestly.
Why am I saying this? God made man, made animals. You know, animals are called lesser animals in biology. In fact, we are told that what distinguishes man from other animals is ability to think, that rationality. But sometimes when you see the way we behave on the road, you keep on asking whether we think. You keep on asking yourself whether Nigeria has made us to, lose sense of reasoning, to know that this is proper, this is improper. Why am I to stand this very way? Each time you encounter traffic or you encounter congestion, if you get to find out the cause, you marvel.
Honestly,
it was just caused by one person or two persons, because one person is supposed to wait for this person to cross over, and the person drives in, closes a route whereby nobody goes forward, nobody goes backward. Bam. Now, what annoys me the most is that if somebody volunteers to help, you will see people vouching that I can't even drive backwards an inch. And guess what? Everybody will be stuck at a point for minutes.
And they go on a bashing spree, scratching and bashing each other.
Getting to hours. Now, guess what? When men of the middle now arrives, that is when they get back their senses. I think on this radio I shared how something happened around Odumodu by Enugu Onitsha Expressway, how 2 drivers blocked a certain spot in that very area. One person was at fault, but because he believed that because he was driving, Toyota Sienna saloon car, then others should disappear for him to pass. And people were asking, Oga, why don't you just reverse so that we can have a headway? And he refused. Before you know it, he came down from the steering and was in to slap everybody until soldiers appeared, and he was the one to receive the slap. And instantly, everywhere got cleared. So why am I saying this? I do not know whether Nigeria has made us to become irrational, whereby we are known for lawlessness. Then wherever we get to, we have to exhibit that. But if we are sensible enough, you know that if you appear on a road that seems to be having some kind of traffic congestion, the best thing you can do is to maintain single file. In that very way, the ease for that congestion to disappear is very, very high. Let me give you instance with what happens at Oka Road. I must commend those guys who are somewhere there at Oka Road, around that ABS roundabout. If you come there in the rush hour, if you get there during the rush hour in the morning or in the evening, as long as those men are there, you are sure that no matter the long queue you have there, in space of few minutes, you have your access. But once they disappear, everybody becomes an animal. So I just hoping that Nigerians will be able to know that if we are going to have a sane society, if you are going to have an order, they have a role to play. We need to begin to change our mind. This kind of mindset we have, that once we're on the road, we are lords, and we can do anything on the road and get away with it. Honestly, it's quite unthinkable.
And the tricycle drivers that move mad, hoping that you are afraid of them, because if you don't give them the space, they scratch you. Then you meet your match. Like that one that is still on that Transinkisi road with that white vehicle that he bashed.
But do you know the irony? Everybody can assume that I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. But the moment somebody bashes the other, you see how everybody.
Honestly, the two of them were there.
Then you begin to beg, God, sorry, but somebody was telling you, please do the right thing. You refuse to do the right thing. See, I was telling somebody, it was like a joke. I said, it's been a long time that I saw a vehicle without a switch in Nigeria. Because you might be very careful, but somebody is reckless. So if you have a car and you are driving Nigeria and you have not had any scratch on your vehicle, no thanks to reckless driving, go for Thanksgiving.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the Polity. The Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. I am Chisom Chinedu. Of course, you've been hearing the voice of Franklin Ebuka, and Dr. Tony Olisiambeki is here to do justice to all of the matters on our desk today. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning to you, Chisom Chinedu. Good morning, Franklin Ebuka. Thank God it's Friday, and we know Friday here is a day we commit more effort. It's not for one day. Today is a very beautiful day. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, India Anambra. Good morning, India Onitsha. Good morning, India Osumo. Good morning, everyone under the reach of our voice. Good morning, India Afia. India Oluaka. If India Oluaka is in the matter these days, and I can one them matter as and keep Azua. If it could beat money, pay advance. Some of them, good number of them, over 80% of them, they don't keep to time agreements. Sometimes they don't even deliver. Sometimes they switch off their phones. People pass through a lot. Of course, there should be a legislation that regulates artisanship. They work their work. They commit a lot of infractions. Of course, we must point out some of these things. And when we talk about the artisans, I don't know if we start with the tailor, the mechanic.
Tony, did the tailor make you wear this?
No. I'm just trying to tell you.
That's why you started with tailors.
Nah, but that's what. Maybe you've not heard people.
No, they do wonders. Don't worry. I shared a story of what a tailor did to my sister during Christmas. She gave my sister a date, and I went with my sister Tony. I went with my sister on the 23rd, and she said, "Don't worry. Tomorrow morning, that your husband is coming to town to pick people. Just as you are driving by, come and take it." And then my sister wakes up on 24th morning and says, "You know what? We're not leaving very early. Let me just trek down there." Shop was locked. Her phone numbers were switched off. That is not the end of the story, Tony. Wait, see. Do you know that her house couldn't be traced and everything? She traveled. Then she returned, and she surprisingly went there. Tony, would you believe that this woman, for the love of God, and let me not forget that advance had been paid. She charged her 21,000. The day we went together, we gave her 1,000 naira in cash after we had transferred 20,000. Do you know that this woman went to her material bag, brought out my sister's fabric uncut, the same way she put it in a bag to bring to her?
This is just what you call a snippet of their attitude.
They work for the devil.
The truth is that many of them are like this. Many. You can count few that are not like that.
No, but my stylist is not like that.
No, I said many of them are like this. And this experience, I will tell you that I've also had such experience many years back. Many years back. And it's not about friendship. That's for tellers. You talk about the mechanics. These ones, I don't know. Of course, whatever name, whatever adjective you can give to them. You can always do that. Many of them, Ndimbuka, because they work in consonants with Ndimbuka, Mbuko, Bosi, you know, where they will, there's what they call that, there's a term they use. They will use refurbish parts, by appearance. They will give it appearance and fix it back. This is something that is worn, that's something that is bad. They will just service it and put appearance, and you pay as if that is direct version, according to what they call it. We pass through a lot, and most times we call our leaders that these leaders are doing this, and some people will tell you that leaders must set the record, set the whole thing straight, because if you lead very well, the followers must follow through. I agree. The truth remains that artisans, when we acknowledge them on this very program, the good ones among them, there are just few of them. Ndolwaka, and disappointment. There are 5 and 6. They will always disappoint you. And one thing they don't even know is that once you breach part of the contract has been breached. Like the delivery time is so date, and for that day you fail to deliver. Man, if this is taken further, the client deserves right to tell you that I will pay you the complete amount, because you have also breached the contractual delivery date. It's a big offense. Many of them don't even know. By the time you go into law of contract, you understand what I'm talking about. We thank everybody for being part of this very program. I think it's very important we point out some of these things that do happen in our communities, in our towns, in our villages, in our cities. We thank God Almighty for His grace, for His love, for all He has been doing for us, for seeing another day like this today. We cannot stop corruption in this country. Father, I went somewhere, it's just a restaurant. And guess what? I saw officials of EEDC eating. I was looking at the orders they were making. They were making outrageous orders. I was actually asking,
are they not allowed to make outrageous orders?
Based on what you know they are being paid. Just like a teacher going to a restaurant making outrageous order. And then if you know it,
teachers have really suffered.
The truth is, frankly, it's not just one-off thing. It's not one-off thing.
Are you sure? Do you see them there every day?
Most times. And the same kind of order. What does that tell you? Corruption. You can't tell me anything outside it. Shortcut. There was a time I saw many of them, even a woman amongst them, even smoking.
Let's not do that woman thing.
But that's true. No, we are laying everything bare.
See.
We are laying everything bare.
When you among lawyers, there's no learned gentlewoman. Everyone is a learned gentleman.
Okay. So we are going to call all the EEDC officials.
Yes.
Okay, no. Would you call them unlearned gentlemen?
Okay, so let me say something. Tony, in as much as I'm not going to conclude with the mere fact that he saw them eating something outrageous, that
most times, not on one of
that they are
basis.
corrupt. No, for me, that is not conclusive evidence to say they are. But I want to say something that tells you the kind of corruption we have in the system. Now, those who are involved in it, they don't see it as corruption. Now, I'm going to lay bare what I learned from my friend, who happens to work with one of the discos.
This is the point where they say, don't have a friend that works in a radio
hold
station.
on, my friend. The thing is, for us who are in the media, of course, we pick lessons from different stories.
Absolutely.
Now, this my friend works with one of the discos, and from what I gathered, her official pay for the month is not more than 200,000. But before the end of the month, she makes more than 800,000.
Ooh.
How does it work? This one happened. We need to do this. And before you know it, a mere connection, somebody gets paid. So it happens. Now there are some people who work with all these discos. Do you know what they do? Even some marketers. What they do is that they go to some places where people are involved in energy theft, and they strike deals. oh, I'm going to protect you. At the end of the month, you pay me so amount of money. It happens. So that's why each time you hear the likes of EEDC or others, cry about energy theft, they have genuine concern there. If you know the amount of money that goes into energy, or the amount of money they lose to energy theft, is humongous. But the truth is that most of their, workers, whether they are ad hoc, whether they are official workers, they are involved in all these things. It's only when you see people who are upright that when they come around and they get to notice that they will now take measures to ensure that it is blocked. Just imagine that a marketer has about 7 buildings that he protects in a month from disconnection, and each of the building gives him like 100,000 every month. He makes money. So corruption is everywhere. Each time I talk about corruption, I say I don't see corruption as something we always make reference to those who are in public offices. No, every one of us, from a toddler to the adult, we are all corrupt in one way or the other. That's what I keep on saying. Each time we point accusing fingers at the leaders, we should look at other fingers pointing towards us. If you want to get it right, all of us must ensure that we do our own bit. In that very way, we can help to salvage the situation.
And I keep saying there will never be a time all of us will do our own bit. It's institutions that will force us to do the right thing. I bet you if all of us cross to the other side, cross to countries that have strong institutions, you will see the institutions there forcing us to do the right thing.
I differ a bit, you know why?
Okay.
There are people in this country where we don't have strong institutions, but they are upright.
Yes, of course, I agree with you. They are
just personal conviction, what they believe in.
That is why we are in the world. And these people that are few, they are few. In fact, even if you go to Sodom and Gomorrah, you wouldn't tell me that you wouldn't see somebody who at that time was just. But the truth is, how many were there? If you go by biblical accounts, the most important thing is for us to have it right. The institutions must be built, and even when the institutions are built, when there is check and balances, monitoring. When people tell you, if you build these institutions, are you not going to have the 10 corrupt people, doing the beats? Have you seen situations where you give a thief, make a thief a security guard with all cameras and everything, beam at the thief? You find out that he will look around, look everywhere and say, oh, that's the language we want everybody to speak. We lack proper checks and balances. We also lack proper monitoring. If you go to every public office in most of this country, I've always mentioned, most of these countries, every public office is done with cameras. Why do you have cameras? That is the institutional strengthening we are talking about. Ordinarily, if you don't put cameras there, they will do as they want. But cameras are everywhere. When you come to work, the kind of work you deliver and everything you deliver, these things are monitored. And even those who are monitoring you, there are also those who are monitoring the monitors. It doesn't stop with one man. Where nobody has control over anything. And where you cannot even cite those who are, because if you think the people controlling you are from this side, you may not even know that the control is network. So you don't know who to sort. You can't sort one person, you can't sort 2 persons, you can't sort 3 persons, because the control system is network. That is the institutions we are talking about. So it's not about if you build these institutions, are we not going to have the same corrupt people to manage? Control and monitoring is network, where everybody is beaming that satellite on the next person.
Everyone is responsible.
That is just that. Okay. That's how it works.
Let's tell you what the front pages of the papers say.
Sorry, quickly. Before you do that, a quick information. Maybe good news for you, Chisom, because yesterday I discovered that your brother has decided to
my
cross over
brother
to Abga. And I'm just wondering. I'm talking about Honorable Bernard Udemezu, who was on the other side, some months back.
In fact, he's been in several sides.
Yeah.
I read a post
when
this
I
morning
said the other time
unofficial APC, official PDP, then NMPP, and unofficial APC, and then officially.
Didn't you see a video where he saw the governor and he was prostrated?
Yes, I saw the video.
He was stumbling. He was telling everybody he would do it over a time. He will do it. He will do it. He was rolling on the floor for the governor.
The boy is beginning to listen to the voice of wisdom.
When I do say that, people, especially youth, stop taking substance
Hey,
stop taking. I said
Tony,
it here.
thank you. Off your mic.
No.
Mic.
Okay.
The truth is,
you are
faith is bitter.
What
you
I
are
was
alleging.
saying.
No, it's not a case of. We have seen it.
You are alleging.
What do you mean? From everything, probably he underwent rehabilitation, and possibly that's why he's.
No, I wouldn't agree with you on
I
that
like to think he's just listening to
for
the
me,
voice of wisdom.
yeah, for me, I will
listen to the voice of wisdom.
I will
now.
decide to talk based on what I can verify.
Absolutely.
Now, what I'm saying is the fact that he was on the other side, some months back, and he was ballistic in terms of the kind of words he used to describe the governor. Called him all kinds of names. Said all manner of things about Abga, and today he's a member of Abga. So I'm just wondering whether the party will be able to trust him. I'm wondering whether the governor will be able to trust him. Then for the followers too, because we're saying these things sometimes. They're saying sometimes when you look at things, don't make a comment or a line because of this is my brother or this is my sister. Look at the issues. Look at what is the fact and what is the truth. Why am I saying this? When he was doing those things he was doing, of course we were able to pinpoint the areas where he was right and the areas where he wasn't right. And we said there are better ways for you to go about your opposition other than going, using fiscal and what have you not. Some people didn't understand it. And I keep on telling young people, when it comes to politics, anybody you are supporting, don't join him in any fight, because tomorrow
don't join him.
The table can turn.
Don't even fight for him.
Now,
you don't even fight for him.
The table has turned. He has gone to dine with those he criticized. And for you, who was following him blindly, I don't know if we are still going to have a shot at the table now.
And the question is, he's maybe looking for tickets. Yes.
There are no two permanent enemies in politics. That is one thing you must always know. I always give the instance of Verify versus Mr. Peter Obi. There are never two permanent enemies in politics. As a matter of fact, the only common thing among politicians, the only thing permanent, is their individual interests. And when it aligns, they form a patrimony. And so Nigerians had better learn this and learn that they should be looking out for who is delivering and not who is, the person they're going to be loyal to. When I saw him signing the paper yesterday, simple. I know from inside that he's beginning to listen to better counsel. The people cheering him on, he has seen that,
and
they meant him no good.
He's also seeking for ticket, and
Let's
he
see
knows,
how that eventually
he knows very well that. I don't know the party he was. He collected money from some gubernatorial candidates, and then what about that? But that's politics. I won't criticize him for that. But one thing, politicians, they don't play politics of integrity. They play politics of where belly face.
Interest.
But the truth remains that I have been vindicated in everything I said against him, about him during that period, because I said this is just a drama, and it was dramatic anyway, and the drama continues.
All right, then let's take a look at the front pages. Like I said earlier, on our desk today we have Vanguard, Daily Sun, The Punch, and The Guardian. On the Vanguard newspaper, the banner headline on page 5, rising costs, IMF warns of tough times for Nigerians. Gunmen abduct 14 UTME candidates in Benue. On page 20, school owner, 4 others kidnapped in Kwara. 2027, Tinubu dares Atiku will be Verify. You can't scare me, he says. On page 8 and on page 37, Tinubu will do 8 years like Buhari, Onanuga tells Atiku. 10 tricks to Kimbo car dealers used to rip off customers. On page 14, you might want to take a look at that. On page 7, how terror attack ended last conversation between Brigadier General Brema and twin brother. And on page 19, the LCC are here saying inflation rise poses significant risks to business sustainability.
Okay, so let's look at the headlines we have on Daily Sun newspaper. And the big story there says gunmen abduct 14 UTME candidates in Benue. Passengers also kidnapped in bus attack. The story is on page 4 of Daily Sun newspaper. Beside the nameplates on Daily Sun, the headline there says Nigerian airlines bleed, lose billions as bird strikes, ground aircraft disrupt flights. That story can be found on page 23. It has a rider that says Air Peace, United Airlines was hit. Fan in talks with wildlife experts to tackle crisis. Page 23, like I said, so you can check that very story there. We look at other stories we have here. IMF to Nigeria, keep debt at manageable levels. On page 2, The writer says Africa's recovery at risk as new global shocks hit stabilization gains. Interesting one. So whether the government is going to listen to this or not, because it's almost like what many other Nigerians have been saying, that when it comes to issue of debt, that we should be mindful to ensure that we have it at a manageable level. Court orders arrest of ex-Humanitarian Affairs Minister Farouk on page 5. I understood that she was supposed to be arraigned in court, but ever since she traveled, she hasn't returned to the commission, talking about EFCC, to submit her international passport, which was given to her on the condition that she was going to travel and return it. Then another headline says, Tinubu, I can't bow to opposition's intimidation. Okay, let's repeat that. Tinubu, I can't bow to opposition's intimidation. The story is on page 6. I watched that video yesterday, and I saw a strong-willed man saying almost what we were saying then. He went down the memory lane trying to recall how attempts were made to deny him the primary. And he said he was able to survive that. How much more now when he is in charge? And then we talk about another headline that says, fuel marketers deny charging airlines 3,300 naira for Jet A fuel. He has a writer that says, promise price drop in coming weeks. The story is on page 25. Okay, so we'd like to hear from them so that Kamala can say. And the final story on the front page of the Sun says, Wike hits Atiku below belt, calls ex-VP serial loser who will still contest 2031 election. These are the headlines on the front page of Daily Sun newspaper.
If you ask me, that's no hit below the belt. Maybe today they begin to Atiku that, so you should look for another line. On the Punch newspaper, U.S. ambassador posts vacant in Nigeria, 116 countries. That's according to a report on page 44. 2027. Tinubu fast shot at opposition heavyweights on page 43. FG moves to tighten airport prison security on page 2. UTME candidates travelers abducted in Benue attack on page 5. No plan to borrow from IMF's $50 billion fund. FG on page 27. And those are the stories.
Okay, so for the Guardian newspaper story, we'll begin with the big story there, which is on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. It says, Correctional Center, how systemic collapse, corruption worsen, inmate plight behind bars. And below the nameplate, we have 3 headlines there. One says, Jet A crisis, fuel marketers dispute airlines, 3,300 naira per litre claim. The story can be found on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Police, customs, uncover terrorist plots in Abuja, Niger, Ondo. That story can be found on page 3. Reps expand the probe into 1.12 trillion naira and Cobrowa's fund summons firm. The story is on page 3. I learned that many people who benefited from that very Cobrowa's fund, they refused to repay that very money given by the federal government for them to grow rice in the country. Tinubu dares opposition, vows to stay on course as zoning debate deepens on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Gunmen abduct Benue UTME candidate amid dispute over technical glitches on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Of course, we know that the UTME for 2026 began yesterday across different centers in Nigeria. It's now it's now computer based. Tinubu backs the red primaries, decries imposition of candidates on page 25 of the Guardian. Raps OK 248.6 billion naira relief. 10-year debt restructuring for Kano, Jos, Ikeja discourse on page 30. And the last story says Ocean Poll CSOs petition Amopito over redeployment of ENEC. Okay, so we have to retake this. Ocean Poll CSOs petition Amopito over redeployment as ENEC adjusts timeline on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. All
right, then let's go and tell you this about these stories in detail. Don't forget we are live on Facebook. Udala Radio 104.7 FM is our handle, and you can drop your comment right under the video of this show. And we're going to start with what happened in Benue State yesterday. We understand 14 UTME candidates were taken in Benue by armed men, and these people were passengers actually. They were going to write the UTME examination called jam, and this happened along the Makurudi Otukpo Road in Benue State. They were traveling from Makurudi to Otukpo precisely, and on Wednesday evening, actually, that was when they were taken, and it was an 18-seater bus. It was ambushed, and according to a source close to the area, the attackers stopped the bus on the highway and forced the passengers into a nearby forest. And Tony, we have, the same, what I say, going around the same circle. I was watching a video on social media yesterday, and road user made a video of a road, according to what was said in the comment section, that is supposedly the most dangerous road in southwest Nigeria. Now, if details like this are out there, children are going around for UTME. We were promised maximum security. Our danger points not supposed to have been secured by now. And some of these places that are claimed as dangerous places, can they not be manned? Why are they not being manned?
Well, we are talking about our roads. Of course, we know our roads have been porous, and especially that Makurdi Otukpo Road. We've had cases of abduction, kidnappings, banditry, and what have you. And you are talking about our roads being manned. How many people do you have that will man such a stretch, such kilometers of road? And we've said it many times that these are things you cannot just deploy only manpower. We must involve technology in managing security in this country, and I've not seen that taking place. It could be as a result of underfunding and every other factor one can imagine. We have seen this from time to time, and it's not a good case. It's not a palatable one. And I've said it time with a number, that issue of UTME, we've seen it. I recall, just like the one we are talking about, 14 passengers, they entered these, transports, I think owned by Benue Links. It's a commercial bus. On the night of April 15, that was on Wednesday, we were told that they were heading to Otukpo for their exams scheduled the next day, which was yesterday. Now, one passenger and the driver escaped. That's what we are told. But police, they have confirmed the incident, and they have launched, according to them, rescue operation. Recall that sometime around March 2020, bandits kidnapped 3 JAMB candidates along with one another person after they had sat for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. But the victims were traveling when they were ambushed. I'm also aware that sometime around May last year, there was this viral claim that alleged that 15 UTME candidates were abducted while they were traveling from Onitsha to Okigwe for a rescheduled UTME exam. But later on, I called that JAMB and police clarified that the candidate's vehicle had a mechanical fault in a no-network area, that they were not kidnapped and later reunited safely with their families. That was what we were told, that it was a false abduction rumor. That was what police told us on that very case. But there was a viral claim. I saw the video on Facebook, but it was later clarified. The truth remains that JAMB candidate abductions, yes, they are not as frequent as what we have with other scenarios or other security breaches, but they occur against a backdrop of repeated highway attacks on travelers, mostly in states like Benue, Kaduna, and parts of the northwest, north central. I know very quite well that many candidates travel along these areas, and they travel long distances by road to CBT centers, that's computer-based test centers. I've seen times that we must do something as far as this is concerned. I'm aware that the UTME is currently ongoing and is going to run from Thursday, April 16 to Saturday, April 25. with multiple daily sections at different computer-based test centers nationwide. But I'm aware that even when JAMB has made minor adjustment to arrival time, because first section candidates arrive by 7 a.m. for the 8:30 exam, because they have put in that the arrival time should be 7 a.m. Exam starts 8:30 for the first section. Even at that, there are cases where candidates arrive late to the exam. And for those who are living in the north, we may not be having this kind of problem in the southern part of the country, especially in southeast and southwest, or even south. But it's not so in the case of north. They travel long distances to get to CBT centers. Even here in southern part of the country, because we have those who are in rural communities, like Anam and other places that do not have network. They have to travel again, either to semi-urban areas or urban areas where there is this CBT center. I have said many times that, do we do away with UTME? Do we do away with it? Has it also served or outserved the purpose it was created for? I have asked a lot of questions, because we cannot allow such situation to continue. Just like NYC, where coppers are being killed at their place of primary assignments. Yes, we know that most orientation camps are fortified. They have security presence. We understand that. But by the time some of these corps members are posted to their place of primary assignment, many of them undergo quite a lot of things. Before we talk about the UTME candidate abduction, we have also seen coppers being abducted. I can go on and give you cases around the country. These are things that expose our youths, our students, to their untimely deaths and untold stories. And there was a time people said, if you're a youth corps member, serve in your state. But even if you allow that, it defeats the purpose, because it was created to unify, to integrate Nigerians, to allow them to intermarry. I don't know if that intermarriage is still working, because it was one of the aims, so that an Igbo man will marry a Yoruba man, an Hausa man will marry an Igbo man, and just vice versa, to make Nigeria to have that sense and feel of one nation. These were the aims, but we've seen these aims far off from where they should, or where they should be heading to. It's a concern. I'm not happy with the abduction of about 14 UTME candidates, and it tells you a story about the insecurity in the country. It's a general insecurity. Our highways are not safe. For me, I cannot travel on any of this road. If I'm going to Lagos, if I can't travel by road, I cannot, because they are not safe, and there's nothing anybody will tell me. If I want to go to Lagos, if I want to go to Abuja, if I want to go to any part of the north, traveling by road is suicide mission. Let's be honest, it's pure suicide mission. And for those who are doing that, they have been doing that, and possibly they have not been harmed. It's by mercy of God. We must improve security. It's one of the things we've been talking about in this country. And if we have this security architecture, I have always proposed, where villages or towns, local governments will have their security apparatus, this will be reduced. These people have few days to operate. They can kidnap as many as they want.
And so I ask again, Tony, why are these roads not being manned? Is it not weird that a road is designated dangerous and it is left bare?
It is not manned because there is no capacity.
Okay.
Lack of capacity. You ask, do you know how many kilometers of road we have in this country? How many are you going to man? How many are you going to left unmanned? How many number of police do you have on the road? We lack capacity.
Tony, is it about capacity or that we have seen security agencies who have refused to do the right thing? Why am I saying this? Ahead of this very UTME, the police knew that there would be risk, and that was why the IGP told all the commands to be for security. I'm aware that in Anambra State here, the police command deployed about 60 policemen, under the Safe School project, for them to, be at some position to ensure that there's some sense of security. If you look at the story involving this very kidnapping, it happened along the Makurdi Road. Perhaps these candidates were traveling from their communities to go to where CBT centers are located for them to have their examination. Had it been that there were CBT centers in their own location, they wouldn't have gone for this very long distance journey for them to sit for this very examination. So the question is, if IGP gave an order that State Command should deploy for this very exam, and all the states said they deployed, I believe that in security management, that's what you call mapping. You map those high-risk areas and know how you deploy. So what happened that police did not deploy on this very road? In as much as we learned that this very incident happened between 7 to 8 p.m. So why didn't police deploy on that very road, knowing that this is a high-risk area? That's number one. Then number two is, let's also look at the other side of this very conversation, because from the report, it was gathered that the driver of that very commercial bus, that he worked against the policy of the company. That the company says, if you are going to apply this very road, it's going to be between so and so time. But even when the company had closed loading for that very for a journey on that very road, he still went and loaded and embarked on the journey. For now, he's not under custody, because I believe that they have to interrogate him to know if there's any kind of connivance. Why am I bringing this very part? Yes, we know that our roads are unsafe, but sometimes we see how humans, out of their own greediness, expose people to danger. So Tony, you can come in.
Well, just like you mentioned, forget the time this incident happened. It could have also happened during the day. It's not because it happened during the night. No, it could have as well happened during the day. The road in question we are talking, Makurdi Otukpo Road, because from Makurdi you enter Otukpo, from Otukpo you enter Enugu Road. From that Enugu Road you enter Naintma. It's about 260 kilometers. That's the length. You want to tell me if a policeman is in the next kilometer, either patrolling, because if they are patrolling, they may be heading in this direction, something may be happening in the other direction. Yes. And how many men do you think can man 260 kilometers of road? It's a very long stretch.
But I tell you what, Tony. I tell you what. Yeah. These people know that there are no men manning these roads. Even if there is even if you don't have the whole 260 something kilometers covered, if these people had the slightest fear that there are people out there who might come down to intercept you if you move mad, they would not be operating the way they do.
The truth remains that even when this, let's be honest, I stand to be corrected.
So now it's not, I know where you're going to. So now it's not a case of lack of men, but the fact that even when they are there, they don't do much.
It's a combination of different factors.
Before you come in, let me give you an instance. The thing is this: we know that we have manpower shortage. We cannot overstretch that. But about with the ones we have, what are we doing? Let me give you an instance with what happens on the Enugu Opin Soka Road. There was a time that kidnapping was happening on that very road almost on daily basis. Then before the government of Enugu State, launched this, that's one unit of the police that was launched, and they were given smart vehicles to be at some strategic point on that very road. Now, there is a distance between one checkpoint and the other, and these checkpoints were mounted strategically, having in mind security mapping in that very area. Now, if you are going to travel 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers, then you are going to see another checkpoint, for instance. These things were done knowing that there are bushes, so that if anything is happening at one point, it wouldn't take the police checkpoint far distance for them to respond. But whereby you have the whole stretch unmanned,
Yes.
unpoliced.
It's in fact, it's more even precarious. I remember when we were growing up, we do have highway patrol team, if you can recall. Highway patrol team. And they have their different barrette look. And one thing about the highway patrol team, when we were growing up, they were not as corrupt as what we are seeing now. Over time, it was meant to secure our highways. But we've seen situations, the population of Nigeria has outgrown the capacity of the police. One is capacity, second is dereliction of duty, the combination of a lot of factors. And third is because we don't want to decentralize policing. We don't want to break it down because our state policing is local. There are many roads in Benue State that are manned, not just that Otubo Makodi Road, even Otubo Oju Road, Castinalo Takum Road, even Boka. There are so many of these roads that are manned. It's not that this happened at so time. The bandits, terrorists, kidnappers, they have few days to do whatever they want to do. And nobody restrain them, nobody challenge them, nobody constrain them. We've seen this happening from time to time because it happened. The point I'm trying to make is this system is not working. And we have to look at it from both sides. What's the sense of allowing people to travel long distances, especially where the roads are not safe for them to sit for CBT examination? Can this examination be something that can be done online? But if you do it in a way, because sometimes if you want to, there are some exams, if you want to write, the cameras will be pointing at you. Once you shift your neck, you are disqualified for the exam. You have to put your
infrastructure.
Definitely. You can even use your phone. Your phone can do that. But it is built in such a way, because the software for the exam is built in such a way that you don't shift your neck while you are writing that exam. And the software also look at your eyeball. Once you put it up, you are disqualified.
All right.
We have these kind of systems we can start thinking of considering. Because we have phones, you can use phone for that, especially phone with cameras.
Thank you for all of that. I mean, now we are not looking at just securing the roads, but also more accessibility for people who have to write examinations like UTME. Now, speaking about our personnel number, like Franklin raised, there was a delegation from the Nigerian Army yesterday in Anambra State at the Ministry of Youth office in Oka, led by Brigadier General Uche Nnabuihe. They were there to sensitize the young people about the ongoing 91 regular recruits intake exercise for trades and non-tradesmen and women. The application is set to end on the 17th of May 2026. Now, according to him, as of April 7th, before the nationwide sensitization, out of the 38,000 applications received, only 117 came from Anambra. Well, if we need more hands on ground, we better have to put our own hands on ground. We take a break now, attend to some commercials. When we come back, we have a lot of issues. Yesterday, 744 repentant criminals, some from different parts of this. I even read about, how many of them, Frank? About 12 from Anambra. So from across different parts of the country completed their rehabilitation program yesterday. We take a look at that. President Tinubu also had something to say to the opposition. All of that at the flip side of, let's say, 10.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM.
When you think of roofing, think of strength. When you think of durability, think of beauty. And when you think of all three combined, think Best Aluminium MFG Limited. At Best Aluminium, we don't just manufacture roofing sheets. We create protection, comfort, and style for your home and business. Whether you're building from scratch or repairing an old roof, we have exactly what you need. Our products include stone-coated roofing sheets, aluminum roofing sheets, and colored roofing sheets. But that's not all. We also offer residential and commercial roofing services, roof repairs, gutters, emergency roofing services, and even durable cookwares that bring quality to your kitchen. Visit us today at 30/32 Anyika Street, Awada Obosi, Anambra State, or call us right now on 0806 416 2374 or 0706 059 6203.
As so, you can live a life filled with spiritual riches. Ekanka, the path of spiritual freedom, presents a day of Ek. Theme: finding the richness of life through the hue. Join us for inspiring talks, uplifting creative arts, workshops, and answers to burning questions about life. The guest speaker, Uchechuko Okoro, an Ek missionary, will share stories, techniques, and tools that you can use for finding the richness of life through singing the Song of Hugh, the most beautiful prayer. Come to number 2 St. Joseph's Cathedral Road, Aguleri, opposite Otocha Township Stadium, Aguleri, Anambra State, on Saturday, April 18th, 2026, by 8 o'clock in the morning. Ekanka, the path of spiritual freedom.
Are you smart, confident, and ready to earn big? Do you have a passion for sales and marketing? Then listen up. Udala Radio 104.7 FM is calling on ambitious, result-driven individuals to join our team as marketers. No limits, no boundaries, just results and rewards. Work at your own pace, meet amazing clients, and grow your income. Sell it, share it, earn your way. Join Udala Radio and start today. Interested? Visit our station today at number 5 Okono Street, Onitsha, or call 0803-350-4206 or send your CV to udalaradio@gmail.com. Don't wait. Your success story starts here. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Udala Radio 104.7. And so, Tony, let's start with a conversation about the repentant criminals. I don't know if I should call them terrorists now, because from what I understand, their crimes vary and locations vary, and most likely their convictions also vary. But the conversation has revolved around what happens with these people entering the society back. Are we safe with these people at all? They are caught former terrorists, right? And they are also victims of violent extremism. Yesterday night, they graduated from the federal government's Deradicalization, Rehabilitation, and Reintegration camp under Operation Safe Corridor. Now, a breakdown: 2 are from Abia, 10 from Adamawa, 1 from Akwa Ibom, 2 from Anambra, please, 12 from Bauchi State, 597 from Borno, 3 from Ebonyi State, 1 from Enugu, 15 from Kano State, 3 from Katsina State, 1 from Kebbi, 5 from Kogi, 2 from Plateau, 2 from Sokoto, and 58 from Yobe State. There are also foreign nationals comprising 1 from Burkina Faso, 1 from Cameroon, 2 from Chad, and 4 from the Niger Republic. About also, according to further breakdown, 733 of them are Muslims, 11 are Christians. What do you make of this development?
Well, I don't want to talk about their configuration or their belief, but the most important thing is the fact that the Deradicalization program, as it's being called, how true it is. I don't want to just join works with what is being bandied. It is difficult to change someone's ideology. Ideology is difficult to change. And I've gone through their curriculum. I've gone through the program usually rendered during such deradicalization exercise. I understand that they are being taught civics, they are being taught the correct version of Islamic religion. I also understand that psychologists do come around and counsel them, give them counseling. They are being taught about Nigeria and the values inherent in this country, being a citizen of the country. They are being taught about the need for good citizenship. I've gone through their curriculum, and these are some of the things that have been taught, and they were done white like angels that fell from heaven. the one we saw, I think they were putting on green cap.
Yes, green cap.
The green cap, yes. They put on white. And I keep saying it, that you put on white does not in any way eradicate the impurities or whatever myths or whatever bad ideology you may possess. Many of them have this janjaweed ideology. There's no doubt. And they have been in this. And if you ask the military, so these are the low risk members of the sect. They are not the fighters. They are not the high risk members of either Boko Haram that are being prosecuted. That these ones, they cannot be de-radicalized. That the ones that are being de-radicalized are those who are low risk, and they explain low risk to be non-fighters. But those who have their sympathy, who give them logistic support, who encourage them, that these are the low risk people that are being de-radicalized. But I remember sometime around March 2021 when Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State publicly stated that some graduates of the rehabilitation program had rejoined Boko Haram factions and were acting as spies for the insurgents. When integrated into the society, they will still become spies. Zulum said this. That was in March 2021. And I remember he called for a review of the program. He cited concerns that repentant members were ending up back with the group. Nothing repentant about them. I recall also there was this report of a small group of Safe Corridor graduates arrested in Borno town of Banki on suspicion of engaging in trade or dealing with insurgents. There was also a time there was this study. There was studies and field interviews from researchers like LSB, Owonikoko, and document cases where he reintegrated Boko Haram members after being de-radicalized, absconded from their communities due to hostilities and threats, and joined back the bandits group. The truth remains that I don't know how we've been faring with this program. I know so much is mapped out for this program. So much. Because if you are told the amount mapped out for this rehabilitation, where Governor Babagana Zulum in March 2021 said that most of these graduates end up as spies for insurgents, and we keep doing it. If you ask the military, they will tell you that these people, they are non-fighters. They don't fight. They are non-combatants. How do we know fighters and non-fighters? If they have this support or give moral support or sympathy to Boko Haram insurgents, and if they are giving gun to go and fight, you think they will not fight? Would they say no? Forget this discrimination of low risk, high risk. Somebody who is low risk can as well assume high risk tomorrow. You call them low risk because they are non-fighters, as if if they were giving gun, they will not fight. Let's be honest. Let's be sincere. The fact remains that the ideology is in them, and you want to de-radicalize them. Are you also defiltering the ideology? You go and bring sheikh and imams. They will read Qurans to them. They will put verses, preach to them. After preaching, you teach them about the issue of morals, good behavior, to embrace Nigeria and everything. You pay them allowance because they have been paid. And most people, they have caused their debts. Nothing is said about it because they have caused debt directly or indirectly. Justice has not been meted. What kind of justice is this? It's not for me. Everybody who in one way or the other is guilty of offense should be prosecuted. Justice meted. What is all this rehabilitation of a thing, the deradicalization of a thing? Let's stop deceiving ourselves.
So Tony, at this point in time, perhaps it's time for us to do a review of this very program. This program they call Operation, Safe Corridor, because over years this has been happening, and we know that there have been concerns about the workability of this, based on the fact that there are concerns that these people who are seen as low risk, should I call them terrorists now, that they can relapse. That's number one. Then, like you mentioned, victims might feel that justice is ignored. And then, in some cases, communities may reject their reintegration. I know that Nigeria is trying to copy some countries in this very regard, because countries like Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, you talk about Colombia, they have similar programs that they run for some repentant jihadists. Now, but the nature of those repentant jihadists, I do not know. Then talk about the content of what is being dished out. You mentioned the kind of training they do receive, this psychosocial and what have you not. They also receive skill acquisition. But outside the training that they give to them, are they being set up? Then secondly is the issue of this very concern people are having, saying that it's time we take a look at this for the second time. The reason is this. These people that have been arrested and kept in a place for rehabilitation, have we been able to pick up any intelligence from them that has helped the military to go after these Boko Haram terrorists? Number one. The other one is the ones we have released into the society and reintegrated. Is anybody monitoring them to know what they have been doing afterwards? Another question is, have we tried to do an assessment of this program to know whether it's actually delivering, or we're just wasting public fund and recreating monsters in the society? Tony?
Well, for me, I have said it very, many times. You ask very important questions because no monitoring, nobody checks the activities of those who have been reintegrated, and nobody will tell me anything. How do you monitor them? What do you use to monitor them? And those who may think they are monitoring them, what have they been able to discover? And if you look around, I have said it many times, these people, they are being given about 100,000 startup capital after they have been either trained in one.
I don't
know. That's what we are told. That's the last report I got, that they were being given 100,000 as a startup capital, either after they have been trained either in carpentry or bakery. Some of these minor things, soap making and all that, they are given, and they are also supported with 10,000 or 20,000 monthly. I think 20,000 monthly as a stipend. Why they do what they do? These are amounts given to these people. Now, I want to ask you, there are many people who are in different prisons, either awaiting trial, and if you ask them their offense, they will tell you, they say that they were conspirators to a particular crime. Conspirators are those who did not commit the crime itself, but they were in the know. They had a prior knowledge of the crime and even helped to coordinate the crime. Many of them are languishing in our prisons. But those who did the same thing in support of Boko Haram, we are being given 100,000, 20,000 as stipend. They are being worn white as angels who fell from heaven with green cap. They are being trained in soap making, cosmetics, and what have you. The same country, different justice system. The same set of offense. One is paid and trained. They do not go to prison. In fact, they have not seen the walls of prison. They are being given everything to sustain them. The others are languishing in different cells for similar offense. One has to do with terrorism. The other one has to do with criminality. When we know that terrorism is also a form of criminality. I'm just trying to tell you that you don't have such justice or two justice systems in the same country. That is not justice. I feel, try these people first, get them convicted. They'll have to wear the tag of ex-convict. Why they are serving their terms, rehabilitate them. You can't have correctional center. Why do we change our prisons to correctional center? Are you doing your own correctional system in another way? They have to follow the same system everybody's following. That's the point I'm trying to make. They have to be convicted first. If they had supported insurgents or different bandits, kidnappers in one way or the other, they must, and first and foremost, be prosecuted. And in their prosecution, that is justice. Once that is done, while they are serving their terms, you can now think of rehabilitating them. That is the need for the correctional centers we have. That's why we change the name to correctional centers, so that we can correct these anomalies, rehabilitate them, because the idea of correctional center is to rehabilitate. We have people that are being rehabilitated in different prisons. You cannot waive, just like we have in the Constitution, the president has the right to take, through the Attorney General, to take over any case, to discontinue and all that. Nothing was introduced in the first instance. If it had been introduced and the president decides that he has to discontinue it for a reason, that is within his prerogative. You can't challenge that because it is in your constitution. But situation where they were not even arraigned in the first instance, they were just profiled, and the next you think of is to start rehabilitation. That is not justice.
Okay.
People that died as a result of one thing or the other they have caused, they will be shouting for justice where they are.
All right, thank you, Tony. It's rather unfortunate that this is what we have found ourselves in, and we are hoping that while they have been let off the hook, so to say, they don't go back into the system to constitute nuisance. And like Franklin said, there is actually monitoring, because, like it or not, justice has not been served in their case or in their cases, and that is one very fundamental part of the conversation that we should not shy away from. Yesterday, President Bola Tinubu said a couple of things. I am going to read it because we do not have time to play you the audio. And one of the things he said, headlined by the Punch, is that he cannot be scared off by the opposition. He said no amount of pressure or intimidation would distract him from his decision and the job, while affirming his administration's commitment to reforming the nation, which he said also the reforms made are already yielding results. He also said that he is not going to be scared by the opposition. He said, they want to scare me off, it's a lie. I've been through this path before, and if I have to come back over and over and over again, I will do the same. There's no better place than your own country, and no one can build it except you. During the primaries, they got me here. It was tough. During the election, it was tough. Now that I am here, I cannot be scared of. All I promise is that I won't give up. And also, whatever you say, I do. But one thing that you need from me is a promise. I won't run away from the fight. With you, the deal is done. Now, this is just part of the things that we have said, because he also took a swipe at the opposition yesterday, but we do not have time. It's quite a lengthy video. But Tony, yesterday, it seemed like he's made up his mind, and it sounded very concrete. I mean, from the way he spoke about it, like the election is not supposed to be an exercise that cannot be preempted. He sounded preemptive, for the want of a better word. For record's sake, every politician will tell you that I'm going to win, I'm going to coast to victory. I also want to state, in continuation of our last discussion, most of the programs, Franklin State, Colombia, Indonesia, they do run on terrorists or their deradicalization program. These things are done in prison. It's just done in their prison system, not outside prison. But that's by the way. And then back to this. It's important that we know very well that most politicians, they sound so convinced that they are going to win, even when it is obvious that it may not really be the case. Just like I said. And there's one thing you must draw from what Mr. President said. He said that it was tough when he was not there, and now he's here. And we want to take it away from him. He was telling the Renewed Hope ambassadors who had come to pay homage to him that he's not afraid of anything. I remember some of his statements in the past where he said, run with it, hold it. Remember that very slogan? He was telling people that they need to protect their votes, how they were going to go about it. And he has sounded so confident. Why wouldn't he? Somebody who has the control of both the police, the SS, the armed forces, the security operatives. He appointed the umpire. Of course, he releases funds to the umpire, because INEC, he releases funds to INEC to function. He releases funds to judiciary. He releases funds to the National Assembly.
one of the things I have also proposed, the government at the center, constitution should be amended so that the government at the center cannot manage our consolidated revenue. They decide who to release money for, even when we know that, yes, these monies are meant for these people. Because if you look at Oshun's local governments, that their funds were denied. They are the gatekeeper. The federal government is the gatekeeper of that consolidated funds. Even when the appropriation law says you must do statutory transfers, they decide when to do the transfers. The truth remains that if you want to achieve that true federalism we're talking about, they cannot be signatory to that account. Kobo cannot be removed from that consolidated fund without other parties signing to that effect. They are the source signatory to that account. They release funds to the organs of government, and with the kind of constitution you have, you think he doesn't have power? I've said it. He's unbeatable. Go and write it anywhere. With the configuration, with the setup, with the architecture, with the composition of things, the way they are, it's impossible. Go and quote me. To defeat him is impossible. With the way things are. Well, he has sounded so confident. There's no doubt. And I said, we have problem with the system we run. It has always been there. That is why it is always difficult to defeat an incumbent president. Jonathan was defeated, yes, but he accepted to be defeated. If Jonathan had accepted not to be defeated, there's no way he could have been defeated. Personally, he had just washed off his hand, Okwalaka Pontius Pilate, and asked his people, supporters, let the will of how many people will do that thing? Jonathan needed to do just one or two things, and he'll be declared the winner. If he had removed Mamuri Jaga for whatever reason, the way he removed Sanusi as CBN governor, retired him before his retirement, because when he was making claims and the oppositions were using his claims to play politics, he removed him. And people were telling him, no, don't remove Sanusi. He's not the person you should remove. You should remove Jaga. That's the person you should remove. He found that, well, Jaga hasn't made any statement or made anything that will make anybody think he's the other way. I'm not saying Jaga was. Jonathan accepted to be defeated. That was why, with all the power, with all the arsenal, with everything in his possession, he accepted to be defeated. Buhari can never be accepted. In fact, he can never accept to be defeated. Tinubu cannot accept to be defeated. He cannot accept to be defeated. Just Jonathan did it. Even Yaradua cannot accept to be defeated. Of blessed memory. Every president may not be like Jonathan. The point I'm trying to make is that a president of Federal Republic of Nigeria can only be defeated as an incumbent if he accepts that he will be defeated based on configuration, based on composition, based on their law, based on the architecture, based on the system. He controls everything. Everything. That's why Mr. President is sounding so confident. Come and take it away from him.
All right, then let's take a break now. Attend to some commercials. Once we come back, we open up the phone lines to stay. It's the Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
The land is green.
For too long, realtors have walked alone. No structure, no protection, no unified voice. That era ends now. Welcome to the Realtors Summit 2026, a historic gathering that will redefine real estate in Anambra and Asaba. The Anambra Asaba Realtors Association, a platform for unity, influence, and collective power. And beyond that, a Realtors Welfare Initiative built to support you when it matters most. Strengthen your career and secure your future in the industry. At this summit, you'll discover smarter ways to close and scale, multiple income channels in real estate, and strategies that move you from hustle to ownership and authority. Featuring Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki of Udala FM, Lovelyn Chinenye Nana, Property Boss, and Mr. Jude Igwebike, IT Professional. Date 2nd May 2026. Time 11 a.m. Venue 5-star Restaurant Hall, Stock Exchange, Onitsha. This is not for everyone, but for realtors who are ready to rise. For inquiries, call 0803 276 0653. This summit is free, powered by Nebek Real Estate Limited.
It's green. Searching for a place to eat good food and still enjoy premium relaxation? Stanley World Agwoka got you covered. Welcome to Stanley SFF Restaurant and Operator Lounge Agwoka, where taste meets class. From hot, delicious local dishes to mouth-watering African and continental cuisines, pepper soup, grilled meat, rice, drinks, and many more. Everything is fresh and satisfying. Step into Operator Lounge, a calm, classy environment to chill, hang out, and unwind. Perfect for friends, dates, and after work relaxation. Chop well, drink well, and feel cool morning, afternoon, and night. Stanley SFF Restaurant and Operator Lounge, a haven for good food, great vibes, top security, and steady comfort. For further inquiry, call 0814-565-6920 or 0813-855-8009.
Nebek Real Estate brings you opportunity that grow with you. Greenfield Estate, Oba, just 1 minute from Owerri Road. Kings Court Estate, Ibiza, opposite Admiralty University. Purity Garden and Classic Estate, Asaba, just 10 minutes from Asaba International Airport. Ikenga Luxury Estate, Ojoto, 7 minutes to Electrical Dealers Market, Ogosi. Nebek. Invest today, gain tomorrow. Visit us at 25 Oka Road, Onitsha, beside Mandela, or Asaba Office 21 and 22, Brain Oil Mall, 295 EEDC Road, opposite Lion House, Asaba, or call us on 080-3265-7455 or 070-1607-8648 or visit us at www.nebekgroup.com.
Are you smart, confident, and ready to earn big? Do you have a passion for sales and marketing? Then listen up. Udala Radio 104.7 FM is calling on ambitious, result-driven individuals to join our team as marketers. No limits, no boundaries, just results and rewards. Work at your own pace, meet amazing clients, and grow your income. Sell it, share it, earn your way. Join Udala Radio and start today. Interested? Visit our station today at number 5 Okono Street, Onitsha, or call 0803-350-4206 or send your CV to udalaradio@gmail.com. Don't wait. Your success story starts here. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic. You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
(0803 221 6973) 0803 827 6694 are the numbers to call to join the conversation. Let's hear you. Please be as objective as possible, and you have 2 minutes. Hello there. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, my chief speaker and Good morning.
You're welcome.
The voice of Honorable Iben Zamora. Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Let me first of all thank you for a wonderful analysis this morning. Because you made much praise about this reintegration of Boko Haram into the society. You see, what you said is supposed to be done. But I don't know why Nigerians cannot get things right. How can you arrest a criminal an insurgency? You cannot try him, join him, then if you want to rehabilitate him. Let me tell you, what's the time, the problem we are having in armed forces today, all these killings and money, all this killing of army, those are the people that are giving them the information. So I want to make it categorically clear that is the government themselves is solving the problem we are having on insecurity in this country. a person like me now, if I know that I will go and see, and after I will not be told I will rehabilitate, why not go and see? I will not, because I know nothing is happening. And even when the Nigerian government went to fight insecurity, they have to put everything about this insecurity by hanging. Anybody that is caught on it with the hand, you see to do all these things with us. So I want to thank you. You did a very nice job this morning, and I think if you can listen, maybe listen. The president is talking about 2027, and you see nothing is going. He's no longer interested in good governance. Only talking about 2027. He's not afraid because we have 6 people that will take it easy for him. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right, then. Let's hear you. 0803-221-6973, 0803-827-6694. Go ahead and put that call across. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, if you cannot hear me, I know that I can hear myself over the radio. What I'm trying to say is that...
what is your name? Where are you coming from?
Obina from Onitsha. What I'm trying to say about the jam bite is that the jam should fix another way of doing this thing. I think you should. I think you please stay aside. You have been given a lot of time to rule. Not have been there since, and you have seen that no good thing. Now we are now disgrace to worldwide. So we need a stable hand like Obi, who is a pure African that deals with African everything to step up. And Tinubu, don't be scared, okay? Obi is going up. 700 and repented. What about Nandekalo, which is fighting for freedom? We have to look into this thing. You 700 and bandits repented that killed a lot. And Nandekalo is for freedom fighters. We have to look into this thing now.
I have to let you go because when you want to push an agenda, at least have the nerves to put a face to it. You know what I mean. Yeah. You know what I mean. You person that put this call across. 0803-221-6973, 0803-827-6694. Good morning. We can hear you.
Good
morning.
Franklin, Chief Dr. Dean Tinubu.
You're welcome.
I am grading Isiapakego, cruising the airwaves from Osumoro. Yes, Nigeria is not a serious country, made possible by Nigerian politicians. You say you have deradicalized terrorists. How? How can that work? How rational is that thinking? That a terrorist, somebody, a serial killer, has been de-radicalized. For you to reintegrate him into the society without serving any jail term. This country, the type of politicians we have here, I wouldn't know from where they come. Yes, because some group of persons are involved. The region has been involved. That is the reason why the constitution of Nigeria is deficient. Yes, because a region has been involved. A terrorist, a serial killer, without being tried. There are some events when, of no, is a kidnapper. Has he been, has he repented? Has he been granted any pardon or amnesty? What is this country up to? Where are they heading? Can Nigeria ever learn from civilized world and do things appropriately and rationally? Where are these people from? These are their politicians. I cannot make out. How can you say you have re-radicalized or whatever you call it, a serial killer, a terrorist, a born terrorist. What mercy are you granting to him? Without him being sent to prison.
Thank you. Your time is up. Can you please say what you mean, all right? Once. You don't need to reiterate going over the same point over and over again so that we can have as many people contribute as possible. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Shisom. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Tika.
Please turn down the volume on your radio set.
No. I'm not even listening to the radio. Hello.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Yeah. First and foremost, I don't know why your YouTube channel is not picking you. I just picking only Tony and the other man there. I don't know.
Would fix that.
YouTube,
Would fix that. Go ahead.
Because I'm just watching you through the YouTube. Talking about I listened to Mr. President yesterday. After listening to him, and I get now worried more in Nigeria. And I ask myself, what kind of country do we find ourselves? Which kind of leaders are we having as a people? What crime did we commit as a Nigerians? We have one of the best churches in even the world. Have the pastors, the bishop, everybody in quantum in Nigeria, but we are not, because if you listen to it look like Mr. President is not even in Nigeria here, or they're not feeding him back, giving the information in what exactly that is, because he was talking so confident. He was not even apologizing, he was not even showing any body language, was not even showing that the country is boiling or anything. So with country feel that like we are buying fuel 200 naira per liter. You go to the market, a bucket of gari is 300 naira, a bag of rice is 150 naira. Just talking, ranting. So you look at it very well. You do not know that when a big, you see, for me, I keep on saying this. If actually that we are not going to have election next year, let us just use that money to go and settle any debt that we are paying. We are owing NEPA, EEDC, the GISCO and the GICO. Let us just use that money, because we cannot waste that kind of money that we are budgeting and we're going to do election. At the end of the day, we are going to have election, because he's so confident. Does Mr. President go to vote for himself? Does he go to, how many votes did he and his household have in Nigeria? How many children did he have? How many wives did he have? How many brothers did he have? How many sisters did he have? That they so confident that you feel that the country is so good, it's moving fine, that it's not before that you are not in the seat, now you are in the seat, doing nothing, doing absolutely nothing. And I'm speaking to I'm in Port Harcourt now. People see the way we are complaining every day. In Onitsha, that is why people are complaining in Port Harcourt and all the radio stations, and people complain all over the places. So, but you are not coming out to be telling us that you are complaining. No problem. Let us leave everything in the hands of God. Thank you.
All right then. Stick to the 2 minutes mark, if you will, please. 0803-221-6973, 0803-827-6694. Drop your comment on Facebook. Udala Radio 104.7 is our handle. And please be as objective as possible. Turn down the volume on your radio set when you put that call across. Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning. You should try to reconnect now. 0803-221-6973, 0803-827-6694. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you in the studio.
You're welcome.
Johnson, and I'm calling from Onitsha.
Go ahead, please.
Repentance comes in a way that even the person who have experienced the repentance will be wondering what has happened to him. Repentance is more of spiritual things. Sorry, I'm not sounding theological here, because this is not a forum for that. But I must say that the people around you that knew you before will be wondering how this occurred. It comes with conversion. You becoming irritated, detesting the character you had before. It comes with a change, with a force that will persuade you to live a new life. that is how repentance comes. Repentance does not demand the contribution of a person. It doesn't demand it. Nobody forces you to do it or to come to that new life. Now, bring it, marry it with what is happening in Nigeria, the so-called repentant Boko Haram. The ideology, the psychology have not changed. The mentality have not changed. No remorse whatsoever. And yet, you force it into them that they have repented. This is a kind of making fool of ourselves. And I must say that we shouldn't bring in anything called repentance in this very particular scenario because they have not repented. What is happening is a kind of trying to present them to the society as changed people, but right inside of them, they are not changed. These people are going to be a threat to the society. If that actually comes to be, just like the news we heard, that they are planning to reintegrate them, if that finally happens, it means Nigeria is up for another danger that will come in near future. Good morning.
Good morning. Tony, any response? 0803 221 6973. Good morning.
Hello?
The volume on your radio side, please. Thank you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What I'm saying is that,
what's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Choma calling from Onitsha.
Go ahead, please.
What I'm saying this morning is that Mr. President that is saying that he's not even intimidated by opposition. And Mr. Speaker says that Jonathan washed his hands, Polity pilot hand, that Mr. President Tinubu didn't accept decision. That's defeating. What I'm saying is that when Trump, the first regime of Trump, did he accept decision, but they removed him. Nothing is good. Nothing.
I'm sorry, we need to let you go. We cannot hear anything that you have to say, Choma. I was hoping that the network would, get better along the way, but I'm sorry, we can't hear you. 0803-221-6973, 0803-827-6694. Choma, you can reconnect actually. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Tony.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
I'm Dubem calling from Manage.
Go ahead, Dubem. Let's hear you.
I just want to ask Tony if this hardship and failed nation is not affecting things. Because why I ask is, from his analysis, that you cannot be able to defeat the incumbent, it seems indirectly or directly campaigning, telling the masses not to go and vote. Because we all know that it's difficult to defeat the incumbent. And we are working towards that what happened in 2023 is not going to repeat itself again. That whichever way that we'll stand and fight for our votes. Me and you, all of us know that if this thing is free and fair, and peradventure people is any ballot paper that is going to win. So I would like him to stop talking about it's not possible, it's not possible, it's not possible. It's possible because if the people stand for their right, they are going to succeed.
Okay, Jubem, give me a second. Can you hold on a bit?
Right.
When you speak about people standing for their rights, I'd like you to know that the first right here is the right to vote. So the sensitization would start from Nigerians. Are we ready to go out and vote? Tony was only referring to why Mr. President had so much confidence in himself, and he alluded this to what we know of Nigerian political history, the trajectory. Look around you. Outside of most recently, give me a second. Outside of most recently, President Goodluck Jonathan, It looks like the power of incumbency is something you cannot pretend doesn't exist. So while we are encouraging people to fight for votes, we need to vote to fight for something. After the last election, I saw people saying, I turned my voter card, I did this. You cannot fight for something that you have not started the process of. Thank you very much. 0803-221-6973, 0803-827-6694. I just realized we cannot entertain any more calls. Franklin, let's go to Facebook.
Okay, so Abibe Kid is smiling angel. Okay, thank you. But I urge you that one of these very days, drop something, okay? Retrat Ika Chuku Christopher from Abatan Subahisus. I'm sure the victims of insurgency will be sad to see that the ones that tormented them are free to walk around in the same community. Ideology is very difficult to change, and if possible, not in an unconscious country like Nigeria. Why not use that resources that is wasted on the so-called deradicalization, on rebuilding victims? How can they fully coexist among their people after what they have cost them? Where did we borrow this idea of deradicalization of bandits? Such a word is an evil agenda. Okay, so I pause here. Then Dr. Mrs. Imo Lebara from Aura says, every new day comes with heartbreaking news and not heart-mending ones. It would lead him, Odumegwejuku, who said leadership is a business for serious minds. We do not want leaders who are erratic, whimsical, and vindictive because they lack the maturity required for leadership. Then Austin Edemoso tells us that democracy in Nigeria is on clutches, standing on one leg. The system has been unsteady and in some instances adversely shaken to its foundation by various undemocratic forces in the country. Okay, Jose Onyebuchi says he has lost confidence in the government. Nzakwa Celestine says people are hungry, the people are dying, the people are being kidnapped and ransom paid. Even the farmers cannot access their farmlands. Words are not enough. What we need is action, even though we know that you are unbeatable based on the incumbency power or incumbency advantage. Better then see reasons with Nigerians and do the right thing, if not resign. Okay. Okoyang Leka, thank you for watching. Likewise, Antonio Mera from Zamfara State, who's also watching on Facebook. Iko Okam is also watching from Osun State, Nigeria. Eke Gonas says government and Boko Haram, they are playing with millions of Nigerians' minds. Today, Repentant, tomorrow, skill acquisition and monthly payments by fragment. And he's asking who is fooling who. Prince Joseph Chibuzonweke. Okay, thank you for following. Nobatu Chokoye says, okay, he disagrees with Tony about incumbency, that the incumbent cannot be defeated, and he says Jonathan was defeated, and whatever forces of pressure that made him accept defeat will still make Jagaban accept. Okay, that should be accept, but you wrote accept. Okay, should make Jagaban accept defeat when defeated. And Ekegona says, I can smell panic in APC after the EEDC National Convention. Everybody now. Okay, sorry, I can't understand the ending part of your message. My apologies, but thank you all for dropping by.
All right, that's the last of the comments we have. Tony, please react to the comments and your final thoughts.
I think somebody was actually talking about Trump. I think that was what Chema was actually referring to. And if Trump can be removed and then he has to stay for another 4 years before coming back, well, that should also be applicable here. But I want to tell Shema, thank you so much for your feedback. But in the United States, incumbent presidents have always been vulnerable to defeat because the system was intentionally designed to limit concentrated executive power. Here in Nigeria is opposite. The president sits on 56 items on exclusive legislative list. Even your money, he controls it. Signatory to the consolidated revenue account. In the United States of America, it's not so, because Congress makes law and controls spending. That's most time you hear that government of US shut down. The president cannot spend anything. The government will shut down. Have you not heard it? Even in the administration of Trump, there was a time the government shut down because he cannot make any spending. Because the Congress did not approve of any spending, and he has to shut down. It cannot happen here. I can tell you that is why so many US president incumbents lost to the opposition. I can remember John Adams in 1800, where he lost to Thomas Jefferson. I can also remember even Herbert Hoover in 1932, where he lost to Franklin D. Roosevelt, who later went on for 4 consecutive terms before it was limited to 2 terms. You remember Jimmy Carter, who died recently.
Thank you,
in 1980, lost to Ronald Reagan. We can go on because of the way the system was intentionally designed. It's not so in Nigeria. Your president is the most powerful, democratic elected president anywhere in the world. Go and take it. And then if he accepts to be defeated in a re-election, definitely he will be. If he says no,
I mean, why is someone even arguing? The president that has the right to hire and fire a next chairman?
Anybody.
Please tell me another story.
Anybody. And approve funds. And, oh, come on.
Franklin, your final words, please.
Well, I will tell people this. That has been my line for quite a while now. We cannot challenge the incumbent by just mere words. And when you understand the character of whatever you're going to challenge or who you're going to challenge in any kind of contest, that helps to position you on how we are going to go into that very contest. What am I saying? The character of Mr. President and character of Jonathan are not the same, and you cannot compare his character with that of Buhari, nor what's the name again, Yar'Adua. Why am I saying this? You can easily look at someone's trajectory and know how the person prepares for any contest. So when you understand that, you now know how to prepare for yours. So if Nigerians are going to mount any challenge, Nigerians have to do more than the ordinary.
Something extraordinary.
That starts
to do that.
That starts with you getting your voter card. That starts with you, if you have not done a transfer, probably finding your way down to where you are accredited to vote.
And how are you going to protect your vote?
Permit me to say this. Tony, I was telling you yesterday, I said there are some things that happen in 2023 that will not repeat itself themselves.
But that's true.
There are some that are still going to happen. Now, let me give you one thing. We are going to have voter repression in FCT and Lagos. So if you want to vote, use the window to transfer your voting points
to a
place where you feel you can easily vote. If you just read the system and know how it's going to be, that helps you on how you can create a system that can work for you.
And just to also remind you that we are not discouraging you from voting. I mean, Tony is not discouraging you from voting. Like I explained earlier, there are things that you can do. I like to think that it's the people versus politicians. And if you agree, you know how to start the process. Thank you very much for being a part of today's edition of the Polity. The last edition for the week. It's a Friday. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Try to stay safe. And for people who are still stuck in 3-3 traffic, oh dear, I'm sorry. From reports I just got a few minutes ago, it's still there. I am hoping that authorities, ONTA, ATMA, all hands on deck. Everyone, please move down to that axis. People need to go about their businesses. It's almost 11 o'clock, and people are still stuck in traffic. We hope to really do better. And for Nigerians who are constituting nuisance, I don't know what to say to you. Mana, ndi bosenato lo malo. You drive like a mad person. Everyone is stuck. You are stuck as well. See you on Monday. I'd actually also see you at 12:25 on the Cherry Box. I am Chisom Chinedu. It's Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Don't touch your dial.
104.7 Udala Radio.